Thanks for the lift. That made the journey way easier than fucking walking all the way up here. I mean, I don't have golden feathers, so I appreciate the ride. Take it easy. Thank you. Oh, hey, what? Watch it with it. Oh, hey, watch it. Whoa! Shit! You fucking insane. I hope you're ready for a short jog, because it's time for a short hike. So a short hike is I would label it as a open world on a mountain. And it's very explorative based. It is not a fighting game, action game, or puzzly game in the senses of like Elden Ring, Assassin's Creed, or Legend of Zelda. It is just this island mountain and you climbing and exploring it for items. Now, the main things you need in the game are few, but there are quite a few handful of items along with some customization ones. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. So you start as one of the children of a family of a park ranger who goes and takes the family out to this mountain. And basically your character wants to be able to use their phone but cannot get any signal. The grown-up in the situation points out if you want a signal, you're going to have to go to the peak of the mountain. And thus your quest to get up there begins, as you have nothing in your name but your feet and your movement. But you're slowly on tools and the capabilities of doing much more than simply lazing about the world. Generally, the main thing you really need in the game is golden feathers, and there are multiple ways of finding them, or buying them from different characters you meet on the island. But there are many other utensils: shovel, fishing, bucket, mining, pickaxe. You have sticks, you have money, compass, bait for fishing, and then you get all kinds of other goodies and shit. Just lots and lots of weird stuff, you know. I don't even know if I found everything, because like I said, there was a lot of side stuff. And there was quite a few other people on this mountain as well, with many of them either giving you tasks to do and finding or doing things, others giving you challenges, or simply just other ones you meet along your way going up the mountain. Some traverse the mountain with you in certain ways, with their own goals, and others just hang about the same place throughout from beginning to end. So there's a lovely cast of characters to meet. Even after I finished the game, there's a few characters I found that I didn't even meet in my initial live stream of playing through this title. And it is a fun little title, oddly enough. Normally, this kind of game probably would be a little more kind of to me, because generally explorative games are kind of a tough sell to me. But there was something really charming about this game. Like, I'm not sure how to put it in the words. There's something really enjoyable about exploring the world and interacting with its characters. While simple and not crazy by any means, I would say, the cast, there was something fun about looking for items, money, and things, even though much of it isn't required. You just need some golden feathers, and in theory, you could speedrun the game to a certain degree, depending on how skilled you are. Because there is likely, I imagine, a minimal number of golden feathers needed to get to the top. But you will find things that will stop you from getting up if you're not really skilled. As the peak of a mountain, it gets cold. And when you get up there, your feathers that you use to traverse higher get frozen unless you get near warmer spots. This being the tricky part. The more feathers you have, the easier it's to circumvent this. But the less you have, the more you'll have to be cautious on how you use your feathers going up. Now, feathers get consumed by either double jumping. For every gold feather, you can jump again in the air. This allows you to essentially fly to a certain degree, and you can hold the button and just glide on whatever amount of feathers you use. But it doesn't consume feathers to glide. You just hold the button to glide. The other thing that will consume feathers will be climbing. Climbing will also consume your feathers, and, well, using your double jump and using your climbing will be your two main ways to traverse around. There's also running, which you can also get the ability of, which will also consume your gold feathers, but this isn't a necessity to get to the top. But it obviously can help you get some more speed going around the island, especially if you're going to try and speed one. Now, the game has a very interesting aesthetic when you start it up. It has this very blocky look to it. Now, you can change how blocky it is in the options to the point where there's hardly any of it. I played through it on the very blocky setting because that is the default setting, so I take that as the intended way the developer intended the way to be played. It gives a very interesting retro kind of aesthetic to the game, but it is some kind of just filter over the game from what I can tell with the options, though. So it's not generally a huge thing outside of an artistic vision of how they want the game to look. But it's nice to give some options for people who don't like the chunky retro pixel look on the characters and that. I can see how that can be subjective for some. So, you do have the option to tone that down if you wish it to be. Audio-wise, the music isn't anything too crazy, but it is very fitting for the game. Explorative, fits the nature of what's going on, where you are on different tiers of the mountain going upward. It feels appropriate for the theme of what's going on. And when there's not much, it just stays very quiet and naturey. This is a very short title. You're probably going to be lucky if you can get more than 2 hours without simply 100%ing everything in the game. It's a short but sweet title. Honestly, again, I find it kind of shocking that I had a lot of fun exploring in this game, because generally this kind of game I don't usually enjoy exploring too much in unless the story's really rich, and there's not really much of a story. There is a story, but it's not much of one. It's pretty simple, and nothing that's going to wipe out your Elden Ring deep 200 plus hour lore speed one of trying to figure out a storyline. You know, it's not going to fucking shock anyone by any degree. But I can definitely recommend a short hike for, well, trips and stuff. I found it very fitting that Super Whale Games did it, because this feels just at home on the Switch, in my opinion. While I'm someone who usually generally leans more towards the PS4 when it comes to this generation of the consoles, this is again a very good game for portability. On the road, need to kill 30 minutes or something. It's delightful for that, and I could see this being a fantastic game for a car trip if I was, well, young and youthful again, well, I didn't have to drive myself to my own job. So, I do recommend it. I would check it out if you like explorative games. But if you want something more with some action, some more deeper puzzles and story, this is probably not going to be for you. But it is a charming game. I really do recommend it. I didn't have the game crash any or run into any problems that I'm at least aware of being actual problems. But being a very simple game, it's not really that amazing, because honestly, you know, if you really have a simple game and it has horrible crashes and shit like a AAA game, there's probably something really wrong then, right? So, sometimes keeping it simple has the nice effect of just, well, for the sakes of being actually simple, which is nice and charming once in a while, you know. So let's get into the value of a short hike. So, like I said, you're probably average likely going to get about 2 hours of gameplay unless you really go in deep for everything humanly possible to do on the island, to collect on the island, and humanly talk to on the island. That makes it a tricky spot for value. I always think most games have a player base of some caliber, and this game averagely goes for $7.99 digitally. Now, the Super Whale game version sold for $36.11 in American money. And I always say that, you know, for us who like physical games, you know, it's hard to expect anything to be below $19.99, so that should always be considered the minimum for physical, at least. And I do have to say, I do feel like that was a little overpriced for the physical. For the digital, I think it's a really nice price, to be honest. A part of me even wants to say maybe even worth $10. Because even though it is a pretty short game, and I always like to throw things to the Undertale dogs, basically. But honestly, there was something very charming about this game. But $7.99, basically $8, is a fantastic price for this game either way. Physically, I think, honestly, and this is gonna go in some criticism of Super Whale games, but honestly, I feel like Super Whale Games has really kind of overpriced a lot of their games in the later portion of their life of their games. I mean, their games have only gotten more expensive since they've begun. And, I mean, you could obviously argue how much of what was worth, like, the original titles launched it at, it looked like around $30 US dollars, but they kept getting more and more expensive as their lifespan has gone. Honestly, I feel like some of these companies do obviously take advantage of being able to upscale their prices and that some. And, you know, we could argue symmetrics and that about what's right and wrong and what they need to get paid and not need to get paid and stuff. But I just kind of feel like $36 US is pretty much for what is a 2-hour game, even though I think it's a really good 2-hour game. It was a fun, explorative little game that I shockingly, honestly, surprised that I actually liked. Because generally, really short games are kind of a mixed bag with me a lot of times. I think I would have probably felt more better at maybe $25 if it really had to be a little higher than $19.99. But that's just me. Sadly, either way, when compared to how much it's going for on eBay, I have to say it's a steal compared to eBay. This was one of the higher sold titles on Super Whale Games, interestingly. I believe they had 6,000 copies of this, I believe, if I remember correctly. I remember them saying something about making a lot more copies than this. Apparently it was a very desired game. And, yeah, looking at eBay, you look like you're basically going to be super lucky if you see it under $70. Because it looks like it's averaging between 70 to 100 plus on limited editions and stuff, too. So, yeah, what the fuck? There's somebody selling it from France for $95 US dollars with $42 shipping. The fuck? $42 shipping. And it's for the normal standard copy, not a fucking limited edition. I swear some people on eBay, what the fuck? Anywho, point is, I don't think you're going to get this game for a really reasonable price physically that easily. And I think is super fucking whip-off secondhand. Like, holy crap. I mean, it's a nice game, don't get me wrong, but dang. Whew, somebody selling this fucking limited box for $400. Scalpels are the scum of the earth, I tell you. Scum of the earth. Luckily, though, for those... Pardon me again. Luckily for those who are sane and not parting with too much of their money, this game is easily available DRM free on PC if you wish to avoid such horrible prices. It's on GOG for $7.99. You can also get on Itch.io for $7.99. Also, it's interesting to note when I checked out this developer, because I wanted to see if they had made any other games. And as far as I can tell, the only other games they made were on Itch.io. And on Itch.io, it's interesting that they also have a mod. A Short Hike 99 online multiplayer mod. A mod that lets you play this game online with up to 99 people climbing on this mountain. Now, it does say you have to do your own server, because there's apparently no server for it live anymore. But that sounds crazy to me, and a very unique experience you could have on PC. I think that would be a fantastic kind of thing for any, like, big live streamers. Could you imagine, like, all starting out at one time, trying to get to the top of the peak first? That could be some really fun multiplayer game, honestly. But again, that's for the PC version, not the console version, which is what we are specifically talking about. But I just got to throw out there, because that sounds like a fun little side idea, to be honest. But they do have a few other games on their page if you want to check out those as well. But those are my main thoughts on A Short Hike, and as usual, spoiler section for the thoughts on the story for those curious on that, and for everyone else, thank you for joining. So, the spoilers. What's the big meat of the story? What's the secret? What did the killer want to call on the phone? Personally, I thought it was going to be their boyfriend, from how they were talking. Like, the killer to me kind of came off as de-interested from going up the mountain there. So I thought the killer would probably, like, had a boyfriend or something and was going to get up there and then be all of a sudden, it's like, hey, oh, hey, Frank, I'm busy at the moment, like, nature and that, you know. That's kind of what I thought the story was going to do. Interestingly enough, that is not what the story did. The story instead actually weaved into a kind of an interesting twist. So apparently the killer's mother, because if I remember quickly, the ranger is your aunt, if I remember quickly. Your mother apparently had an operation and, well, was having the operation. The trip was meant to be kind of a way for you all to take your mind off of such. And your character won their phone reception, so they could heal for their mother when their operation was done. And you do get your call. When you get up there, you have your nice chat with your mother, telling her about some of the things, getting up to the top of the mountain, and about ultimately looking off the peak of the mountain. Your mother basically is like, sweetie-o. It basically tells you to relay to your aunt and that, and from the peak, you can basically take the opportunity to glide down from the highest peak of the game and work your way around and have a really good sight of the heights. It's also a very excellent spot to see any extra secrets. I was able to find a few little extra golden feathers hanging around on random cliffs and stuff. But either way, that's pretty much how the game ends. You'll fly back down to where the whole game ended, talk to your aunt, go to the cabin, go to sleep, and you'll have the quits. And that's a short hike. Now, you can go straight back in the game, and you can like, go for whatever things you didn't finish, do meet, talk to a few characters for some a little extra dialogue. But that's pretty much the game. Again, nothing too crazy or anything, but charming, and honestly, it's a little touching. Personal, as somebody who lost a mother last year, I can understand the horrifying feel of having your mother go in an operation. My mother passed away last year, and I had my own operation this year. So, I got to experience all of that kind of shit. You've no idea how scared I was going to my operation. And it wasn't even necessarily scared for my own well-being, it's more like scared for everyone else. Like, you're gonna ask some close friends that I put a video out to let viewers know that I was going to an operation, and there were several friends that I went and let know a whole bunch of stuff to, well, just in case something went wrong, I didn't want people to wonder, like, what happened to me, I've had that experience with so many other people online. It's just really sad to me. So, but again, kind of just a personal thing. But anyway, those are what I thought of the ending of A Short Hike. If you feel like you learned anything interesting in this title, feel free to leave a like on the video, and if you feel like you learned nothing interesting at all, feel free to leave a dislike guilt-free, and until next time, I hope you'll check out A Short Hike. It's a nice little journey. I enjoyed its charming environments and everything, so check it out, and until next time, I'll see you out there in the preview.